So I've been getting a lot of comments lately from people asking about whether they should fight certain things or not. And I think the thing, and okay, first off, we've chatted about this in the past. I got some, like, my video about letting it go kind of is on this topic. But one of the things that is a sad reality of these scenarios, especially early on, and that people who haven't been through this just don't understand, and that's just how devastating and how emotional these things really are. So it's super easy for people to say, oh, you just got to let it go. You got to just take the high road. You got to do this. They're good at giving all this advice. And I mean, and the reality is, I can look at it now, 10 years into this whole thing, and they're right, kind of. And what I mean by that is you can't discount the emotional toll that this is having on you. You can't discount the unfairness that you're feeling and the lack of justice, the lack of accountability. And the sad reality of this, and this is something that I struggled with very early on in this process, and that is, it's not fair that the person is getting away with this. It's not fair that, I'm the one that's suffering on this. I'm financially ruined. My reputation is being attacked. All those things. That I'm having to fight for time for my kids. I'm having to fight to try to prove that I'm a decent human being. And you want the other person to feel just a little tiny bit of what you're going through. What this means, though, and this is the hard part, and let me know if this is something you're struggling with, because I would imagine if you're in the early parts of this, you have, because I know I surely did. And that is even if you let something go, or you said, okay, I'm not going to fight this, then you have this residual emotion that you're dealing with, like this, your inner voice telling you that you're wrong, that you messed up, that you need to hold them accountable. And the piece, however you want to say it, that people miss is that if you could just say, you know what, I'm not fighting this anymore. I want this crap out of my life. I am choosing to just, not dip my toe in this cesspool anymore, or these foul waters. I said that to someone in a comment the other day. Then that would be fine. And that's kind of where I'm at now. That's where I can take a step back. I can look at the 30,000 foot view, so to speak, see the whole big picture, and it's like, it's just not worth it. But 8 years ago, 9 years ago, that wasn't the case. And you feel like, and maybe you feel this way, you feel like you're jumping through these flaming hoops all the freaking time. That's like, okay, Duane, now you need to jump through this hoop, and you need to roll over, and then you need to jump back and scratch your head, and and you're like, what the hell? And the other person is just sitting there laughing and having a good time, and someone's bringing them a new shirt to wear or something. I mean, it's like wow, their life is not missing a beat. They're not affected by any of this, and you feel like you're being lit on fire. Here's the thing that you have to do, or that you have to think about. And that is, you really have to take a pause, and you have to ask yourself this simple question. is what I'm doing right now helping me to achieve the life that I want to get to? Think about that. Is what I'm doing right now, in this moment, helping me to get basically to where I want to go? Now, that's singularly focused on you. The problem is we get caught up in how is the decision I'm making right now making the other person feel the way I feel right now. See, and that's the problem is you're getting stuck in now, in the moment that you're in. You're trapping yourself to it. But here's the thing. I can say these words and I can put this on video, but until you're ready, until you've hit effectively emotional rock bottom, they're just words. And here's the crazy part. This is a crazy part for me. Is everything I'm saying I fundamentally knew when I was going through it. I knew I didn't want this person occupying any space in my mind or in my heart anymore. I knew it. But emotionally, I wasn't ready for it. So that struggle made things complicated. It made things complicated. It wasn't until I shot my arrows, threw out my retort, tried to counter their argument, tried to get some sense of fairness, tried to convince people that my side of the story was accurate. And sometimes that did work, but the reality is that it kept me in a mental headspace that just wasn't healthy. And it wasn't until I completely emotionally crashed, where I really woke up one day and just had this epiphany that if I don't find a way out of this emotionally, it's going to kill me. And that was when, and let me pause. And before I got to that point, I got to my darkest times in my life. It was really, really bad. This is a period of time where I was going to therapy once a week. I was seriously considering, do I need to do more? Maybe I need to be, not inserted, but, inpatient type of intensive therapy to get through this. I was spiraling out of control, and I wasn't sure I was going to make it through it. But when I hit that point, that was when I had enough. That I'd reached that's so freaking low that I just released it. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't be worrying about what the person is doing. And this is where black hole thinking, absolute thinking, hybrid no contact all grew out of. Because I couldn't do this anymore. And it was really weird because it feels like, and I don't know, I'm not entirely sure if it happened this fast, but it really felt, and my recollection is, okay, so today I'm making this video on a Monday. Sunday I was still wrapped into the chaos. And then Monday when I woke up, I was just done. I was done. And I'm like, I'm not talking about this anymore. I'm not focusing on this anymore. I want to focus on my life. I want to focus on good things. I want to focus on my hobbies, my desires, my future. And I even had to do a switch in my head to say, and this is part of the black hole thinking concept as well, of I cannot compare, and I talk about this a lot, the rebaselining your life. I can't compare today to what it was before this nightmare began. I can't compare my bank account to what it was before, my take-home pay to what it was before, my time with the kids to what it was before. I had to say, okay, today is my life. Today is where I'm at. Today is the baseline, and I want to start increasing from there. And when I was able to do that, that's when things really started to change. And the little secret, or the bonus that I can share with you, is that when I did that, things started to change very rapidly. You're like, well, what does that mean? It's like, it's almost like, prior to that, everything that could go wrong would go wrong. Where after, it was like everything, things still went wrong, but it's like if something went wrong, it went wrong in the best, easiest, minimal way it possibly could. It was just, actually, to be honest, it was bizarre. It was almost like the universe or God saying, okay, you get it, so I'm going to give you a little break. And the interesting part about that, you start to see improvements. You start to see improvements in your life. You start to see, things getting better in your own mind. And then it just kind of like builds on itself faster, because then you're like, oh, wow, things can get better. I am feeling better. I mean, I'm not thinking about the ex 24/7. And then it just started building, and it started getting better, and it started getting better and better and better. Now, keep in mind that when I was at this phase, I still had 3 kids on child support. I was still paying the ex gobs of money. She still wasn't working. She was still playing Pokemon Go and, just living her, basically being retired on me. And I just didn't care anymore. I mean, it was like, I'd roll my eyes at it. I'm like, wow, really it's like, somebody without any ambition or drive or anything. Anyways, that's beside the point. What I'm saying is that it shifted everything. And here's the funny part is I thought prior to this time that I would not feel that way until all the kids were done, all the child support was done, all the bills were paid off. I mean, it was like, at the start of it, it was a 12-year, at the beginning, it was a 12-year, a decade, over a decade. And I believed, I'm like, oh my God, I will not be able to start living my life or start even having a chance to be happy until I'm 50, 55, 54. And that was depressing, right? I look at that and I'd be like, oh my God, this whole decade, my entire 40s is gone, and I'm not even going to be able to get on the other side of this until I'm, way into my 50s. I'm like, 51 right now. So, and that's not what happened. Things got better sooner. And it wasn't that I won the lottery. It wasn't that the ex, said, hey, I realize that what I'm doing is wrong and it's not fair. So, I'm going to go get a job and I'm going to stipulate to a change in child support and alimony because, this isn't fair. No, that's not what happened. Her behavior is all stayed the same. So the key point on this is, really the key point that I want you to understand is even if you feel like complete crap today, even if you feel like this person has burrowed into your mind, into your heart, and you just cannot expel that, you will. Now, you have to actively work toward that. It's not going to just happen on its own. You have to want that. And I I'll make another video on the troubles of, well, let me know if you want me to make a video on this. And what I'm talking about is the trouble of not wanting to not have the interaction with your ex, even if it's just a fight. It sounds crazy, but that's something I struggled with too, is like, I was afraid to stop the interaction because that was the only thing left, and I still had a connection with this person. And I know a lot of you do. Sometimes you guys will say it in the comments. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll say it privately in email. But I also understand there's a part of a lot of people who still have that connection and still have that hope for what the illusion of that relationship was. So let me know if you want me to make another video on that. And so go easy on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. And don't allow yourself to get caught up in the catastrophic thinking, feeling that, oh my God, this is never going to get better. When they have that daily opportunity to dump salt in the wound, that makes it tough, right? Because you got that daily reminder that hey, your life is crap, and a big part of it is because this other person has the strings, and they're the puppet master controlling your life. And the reality is you have the scissors to cut those strings. It's just hard to accept that. And sometimes it's even harder to actually do it. So, anyways, if you are one of the people who has not subscribed to the channel, because it seems like the majority of the people are non-subscribers, click the subscribe button. Ring the bell notification so you get notified when I post a video. If you really like what's going on and you really want to support what I'm doing, buy me a coffee. Basically, become a channel member. Just scroll down on the YouTube thing, hit the join button, and pick a tier, and yeah, don't give up. Life gets better. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it does. All right, talk to you later.